Here are the two topics you need to focus on to pass your aircraft maintenance engineering cars examination. For you guys that are new to my channel, my name is Peter. I am a licensed aircraft maintenance engineer and I help aircraft maintenance engineer apprentices to pass their cars examination 80% and above. So if you're an aircraft maintenance engineer apprentice that need help in order to pass your aircraft maintenance engineering cars examination, click the link in the description and book a consultation and let me see how I can help you out. All right. So what are the most two common topics I have seen the cars examination focus on? The first one I'm going to talk about is understanding your car's parts, right? So in the textbook, the Cars for AME, which I usually recommend people to study whenever doing this examination, you have different parts. You have about 7 of them, right? Me personally, I always recommend you to study everything at least once, but you don't have to study everything all over again. There are specific parts, right, that 100% guarantee you're going to get questions on, and which I'm going to tell you guys in this video. And this is coming from someone that have done the exam before, and I've also helped apprentices recently to do the examination too, and they passed 80%. Actually, one of the apprentices I helped got like 92%, something like that. Yeah, 92% recently, right? So I'm going to talk about the common parts you got to focus on. The first one I'm going to talk about is part 2. This is focused a lot more on the registration, leasing, and identification of aircraft. I remember when I did my examination a couple years ago, I had a question, like 2 questions on this. The first question I had was like, was talking about the measurement of the aircraft VIN numbers, right? What is the measurement, something like that, right? And the apprentice that did the examination recently had almost 2 questions on this too, right? And this is why I recommend you guys to go to someone that already had the experience, and this is something I can help you out with. Okay? Part 2, 100% you're gonna get a question in this. The second one I'm gonna talk about is part 4. This is focused a lot more on personal licensing, right? But in part 4, I always recommend you to study a lot more on 403. That is because this is applicable to aircraft maintenance engineering licensing. So 403, everything under 403, you want to focus a lot more on that. At least 5 questions is coming from there. At least 5 questions, because they can ask you questions about what is the age to become an aircraft, what is the minimum age to become an aircraft maintenance engineer, how many months do you need to get your license to become an aircraft maintenance engineer. They can ask you questions on, where can you find the regulations for aircraft maintenance engineer. There are a couple questions they can ask you on this. At least minimum 5 questions you get on this part, right? The next one I'm going to talk about, you guys to focus on, is part 5. Huge one too. Part 5. This is a huge one. After part 4, I'll say part 5. This is airworthiness, right? Bro, I'm telling you, man, you knowing at least part 2, part 4, part 5, and the last one I'm going to talk about more. And I see a lot of questions coming on. I said it recently. I see a lot of questions coming on. This is part 7. Right? I see a lot of questions coming on flight authority, a lot of questions coming on the C of A, a lot of questions coming on flight permits, hard time, all those. I see a lot of questions coming on those, right? And this is something I can help you out with. This is something I've helped apprentices with. So if you're an aircraft maintenance engineer apprentice that need help in order to pass this car's examination, 80% and above, click the link in the description, man. Let me see how I can help you out, all right? So that's the first topic I'm going to talk about. Understanding different parts, but you want to focus. You don't want to read everything. You want to focus more on the specific part I mentioned here, right? Part 2, part 4, part 5, part 6 is also important. Yeah, part 6 and part 7. You understanding those parts and understanding everything under those parts, I guarantee you at least 15 questions. 15 questions easily. The next one I'm going to talk about is appendix, especially for 625, right? So cars 625 appendix. Guys, this is a huge one. Appendix A, which is elementary work, maintenance standard. Appendix C, out of phase. I'm telling you, man, you just understanding your appendix, this especially for 625, at least 10 questions. Guys, I just gave you guys at least 25-30 questions right now. Literally. You understanding this, and this is something I can help you out with. You know, I have done it before. I've helped apprentices do this recently, and they have passed. They have passed 80%. One of my apprentices that just finished doing his examination got 92%. 92, one shot. We only had 1 month. I usually help people out for 1 month. I tell people, man, before you do this examination, at least you can't just come 1 week before your examination and you think you're gonna pass. Nah, you need at least 2 months. But me personally, because I've done it a couple times, I've helped apprentices, I know where to focus on. I know what to focus on, right? So at least minimum, I usually recommend 1 month. 1 month, three times a week. I prep you up. We study what you're going to expect in the examination. But I'm telling you, you can pass it like easily in 90%. This is something I can help you out with. So if you need help with your CARS examination, if you're struggling to study, we don't know. Not everyone has that motivation. You know, as an apprentice, you're going to be working, study, but I can help you create that shortcut. I can help you out so you don't have that much pressure. All right. If you need that type of help, click the link in the description, man. Let me see how I can help you out. All right. So focusing on the CARS part, the ones I measured, and the appendix, especially for 625, guys, at least 30%. That's it, 30%. And the rest of the questions are more scattered. There's a lot more scattered questions in these CARS for AME. But this is all you need though. CARS for AME, that's all you need. Alright, so those are the 2 topics you gotta focus more when studying for the CARS examination. For you guys that are new to my channel, my name is Peter. I'm a licensed aircraft maintenance engineer, and I help aircraft maintenance engineer apprentices to pass the CARS examination 80% and above. So if you need that type of help, click the link in the description, man. Book a consultation. Let me see how I can help you out. Alright, for you guys that are new to my channel, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Love you guys.